Vanessa, you were talking earlier about the breaking up of Syria. So what's the latest on Syria?
Yeah, I just wanted to do a quick catch up, but I think the slides have been misaligned, so I don't know if we can go forward to the French port deal and go past the nice pictures of President Trump and Al-Sharaa. And then I can sort of get started on what's actually happening in Syria at the moment.
Sorry,
we don't have them.
No, we're going to have to just go with it.
Okay, all right. That's a shame. We don't even have the map.
You keep talking. I'll try to work it out. Yes.
Okay, so basically I just wanted to do a catch-up on Syria and the carve-up of Syrian territory, which is ongoing. First of all, in recent news, the French have renewed or extended their deal for the control of Latakia port on the coast, which of course is very close to the Russian military base in Khaimimim and Tartus. The French shipping giant CMA GGM has extended its contract to a further 30 years to develop and run the port of Latakia with a view to investing 230 million euros into the port, which of course gives France control to some degree in that area again, which formerly was an Alawite protectorate under the French mandate, and to some degree brings it into competition with Russia, that is also consolidating its military presence in the same area. And then basically we've recently had talks between Turkey and Israel in Azerbaijan to ease the tensions over Syria, because we've talked about on UK Column the fact that Israel has been preventing any serious expansionism from Erdogan into the depths of Syria by bombing potential military bases and air defense bases that would be under the control of the Turkish state. And then recently also the PKK has declared its dissolution and an end to the armed struggle, which in my opinion is very much about giving legitimacy to the Kurdish factions, separatists, under the control of the US, and also, of course, supported by Israel. And I just wanted to have a look at this map and then go through everything I've just said and give an idea of how Syria is heading towards partitioning. And if we can just keep the map on for a few seconds. So on the coast, although that circle should be a little bit closer to the Latakia area, you will have France and Russia potentially forming some form of protectorate, driving out the Al-Qaeda and affiliated forces and potentially bringing it under the control of Russia, with France there as a sort of buffer against Russian expansionism, I would speculate. In the south, of course, you have Israeli expansion, creating what it calls a security perimeter. You have the Druze forming a separatist movement. I'm very much simplifying things because they are a little bit more complicated than this. But Israel is eyeing up the Druze factions as a means to occupying further to the east in the south. And then that would give it access to what it is called the David Corridor, which is the blue arrow, which would take it up the eastern flank of Syria, the border with Jordan and Iraq, and give them entry into Iraq and towards the Euphrates. In the northeast, the Kurds would be given some kind of autonomous region or federal system under the auspices of the US. Turkish territory, as you can see, that they've been allowed to keep is in the blue sections in the north. They have advanced very slightly, but as I said, Israel is preventing any further expansionism from Erdogan. And with Al-Qaeda or Jalani, as long as he lasts, of course, in the green area, which end up being a relatively centralized area surrounded by competing regional powers who all have in their interest to keep Iran out of the region. So that's where we're heading. It doesn't mean that is actually going to be achieved, because there are other variables involved, of course, including the resistance and Syrian political movements that are now coming forward.
You say if for as long as Jelani lasts. I mean, what are your thoughts on just very briefly? If Trump is meeting Jelani today, does that give him any kind of extra underpinning?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it remains to be seen what happens with the sanctions, whether they do actually enable him to flourish as a state. There is some degree of skepticism over that. And of course, he's under pressure internally from other armed factions who don't consider him to be extremist enough. So it remains to be seen whether he does stay in place for the time being or he eventually is pushed out.
Thank you for that, Vanessa. Okay, let's just finish off.